welcome to the Pivot to Balance podcast. I'm your host, Akay, and I hope you're doing well. In a world that pulls us in a million different directions and with a billion distractions, finding balance can feel like an ambiguous quest. Join me on this podcast as I try to navigate life's twists and turns with mindfulness, purpose, and grace. In each episode, we will dive into topics like self-care, personal growth, mindset shifts by sharing practical insights, stories, and maybe even interviews. Get ready to pivot, to recalibrate, and find your balance. Follow the Pivot to Balance podcast, and I will see you on the other side. In today's episode, we're going to talk about embracing imperfection in work and life. If you're a full-time student, or you work full-time, or you work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and you also have a life, then this podcast episode is for you. We're first going to talk about imperfection. Research shows that when you go after perfection, it leads to increased stress, anxiety, and depression. It also hinders your creativity and innovation. I want to talk about 3 types of perfectionism that I found out. The first one is self-oriented perfectionism. The second one is other-oriented perfectionism. And third one is socially prescribed perfectionism. Tell me which one you relate to. Self-oriented perfectionism is having high standards for yourself. Other-oriented perfectionism is massive expectations of others. And the third one is socially prescribed perfectionism, which is others expect so much of me. I am pretty sure I fall into the first 2. I am a self-oriented perfectionist and an other-oriented perfectionist. I have really high standards for myself in certain areas of life, and I expect the same from others. Let's say that I'm working with a teammate, and I always like to go back and forth and share insights and communicate. That's very important to me, and I expect that from other people, and when they don't do that, that kind of increases my stress and anxiety levels. There's actually a case study done in perfectionism. I actually have something for you that I want you to read. I will talk more about that towards the end of this episode, but stay tuned for that. Now let's pivot and understand a little bit about the psychology of imperfection. Why do we want to be so perfect? And it's a question that I've asked myself so many times. And I think it's because we are so hardwired to seek approval, and perfectionism can be a way to gain external validation. So, for example, when I tell people that I get up at 3 a.m., this is just an example. I don't actually do it for validation, but I do tell people that I get up at 3 a.m. to record my podcast episodes. And when they give me that look of, oh, wow, you get up at 3 a.m., you're such a hardworking person. 3 a.m., really? I just do it because that's when it's silent. And even then, sometimes I cannot find peace. But I think if I were to do that just to get validation from other people, that is just me causing stress for myself, right? What am I doing that for? That is just me creating unnecessary anxiety and stress. So I think it's essential for us to recognize that true happiness comes from within and not from the approval of others. The next time you get really stressed over, oh my God, this is not the way that I wanted it to be, think about, okay, why is this so important? If it is really important, yes, I'm not saying that it's okay for things to be imperfect, 100% not. But sometimes it's okay to let some things slip by. It's okay for some things to not go the way you thought they would. With that, let's talk about how can you embrace this. You know what? It actually might sound counterintuitive, but when you accept that some things are just not perfect, for example, we work 8 hours. Let's say, for example, that you work 8 hours a day. There's only so much you can do in 8 hours. So if one thing slips by, if you don't get something done, that's okay, because that can actually lead to higher productivity and job satisfaction. Or it could be your assignment. If you were not able to yes, you submitted your assignment, but you didn't give it your best, that's okay because you finished the other ones. You need to understand how to balance these out, because when you accept that you cannot control everything, you reduce stress and it improves your overall well-being. Let's apply this to your personal life as well. When you embrace imperfection, you improve relationships, you reduce stress, and you're overall happy, because you need to understand that no one is perfect. Understanding, accepting is the only way to more meaningful connections. And I think this is a very important topic, right? You cannot expect everyone to be like you. This is something that I often say to people that are really close to me. I tell them, do you want problems or do you want solutions? Because if you want problems, you can keep talking about what's wrong. If you want solutions, let's talk about what we can do to work this out. This is my favorite line. Whenever anything comes, work or personal life, I always think about, do I want more problems? Do I want to just keep talking about this? Or do I want this problem to disappear, and do I want to just solve it? What can you do to embrace imperfection? First of all, you need to practice self-compassion. how you think about yourself and how you talk to yourself, all of that is so important because that helps you shape how you show up to other people. Treat yourself with kindness and understand yourself. Whenever you say, oh my God, I could have done this so much better, just think, would you say that to another person who's struggling, who's making it work, who's really working hard? Would you say that to someone else? It's 100% okay to have really high expectations of yourself, but I think it's also important to draw the line and say, you know what, I've done so much. I deserve a break. I recognize that I've given it so much. I'm going to take a step back. The second thing is set realistic goals and expectations. The second thing is set realistic goals and expectations. We all have 24 hours. Yes, prioritizing and understanding time management and everything can really help you do whatever it is that you want, but also being realistic is important. If I say that I will work 2 full-time jobs, it's not possible for me because I work 8 hours a day and then I have 2 podcasts that I work on. I have something else that's going on the side, another project that I'm working on. And for us to think that I can add more to this, yes, I probably could, but can I delegate what I already have and then take more on? Understanding where to say yes and where to say no is very important to keep your stress levels down. And also learn to laugh at your mistakes. I love doing this. Every time I think I'm going to do something and I end up not doing it, I just tell myself, you set yourself up for failure and you cannot get mad because you knew this wasn't possible. Sometimes it's okay to be a little delulu and take steps and be like, I actually could do this and I'm just going to do it. But then if you fail, it's fine. At least you tried. It's fine. But not getting frustrated and just laughing and saying, you know what, I knew this would happen, but at least I tried. That is a good attitude to have rather than, how could I not do this? I thought I could do it. I'm not fit for anything. Like that thought process is not right. And it's not helping you in any way. And the last thing is surround yourself with people who support you and appreciate you for who you are. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've gone to my friends and family and told them, I thought I could do this, but I couldn't. And I'm such, I wanted to do this and that. And I don't know, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to. And they'll always tell me, like, but you do so many other things. What else do you want from life? And it really hits me at that time. I'm like, yeah, I do all of this. And this is another favorite thing of mine. You are exactly where you wanted to be a year ago. Instead of appreciating that, we always look at the next thing. I am exactly where I thought I would be a year ago. I told myself, you know what, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to keep doing my podcasts, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But then for me to think, but I wanted to perform like this in my job and I'm not, it's okay. I just started and it's fine. And I think it's important to humor yourself. And I have friends and family that always tell me, you graduated and you got a job and you're in another country. Appreciate yourself and be proud of who you've become. And I think it's very important for us to recognize that so many important things that we want usually always ends up happening, but we don't recognize that and we don't take a step back to appreciate that. Be very mindful and take steps towards being happier and recognizing your wins and letting go of your imperfections and understanding that imperfection is a journey and it's not a destination will help you so much. Now, I know I talked about this case study. I have that linked in the description because I want you to go and read it. It was a very interesting case study for me to read. And I think you should read it. It's up to you. You can read it. If you at all found this interesting, and try this and let me know how it works, because if there's something else that you're trying, let me know because that would be interesting to learn. Now, go grab a cup of lemon water and I will see you in the next episode.